tell you about Emilio.
Gotta be loud.
I'll tell you about Emilio. Emilio was amazing. He was amazing, and he died. He lost his life to addiction and mental health. He was 27 years old. My best friend. He committed suicide at my house. February 28th, 2016. February 29th, really. Leap year. Emilio could never just do anything half-ass. When I first met him, me and Emilio and Matt were really good friends, and it was the three of us. And Matt and Emilio were kind of like my brothers because I was new to Florida. I didn't know anyone. I smoked a little weed, and I was trying to make things happen there. I didn't understand what drug dealing was. I didn't understand what hustling was. I just didn't get it. I was from the Midwest, very sheltered, not stupid, but sheltered. Emilio was like a brother, like my little brother. And Matt was sort of like a friend. He was my first friend in Florida. Matt was my first friend. And maybe not a good friend, but a friend. And the first time I knew that the three of us were fun, like, just a funny story. We went to the beach, and I had been spending every day with Matthew. He'd come over and visit me every single day. And my birthday's in the summer, and it was coming up. And every day we're together. And I could start to see Matt, even though he was damaged and hurt. I could see him as a person. And Emilio was like our little brother, like the third. He was like the third wheel. So when Matt and I became a couple, and we kept telling everyone, we're just friends, we're just friends, we're just friends. We were just friends for about 3.5 months. And it changed. And Emilio was like our little brother, and we took him to the beach a lot. And Matt and I would be bouncing in the waves, and Emilio would be like sitting there looking at us all the time. So on the night that he died, he was starting to do things in Florida to draw negative attention, starting some fights. He had a temper. And I knew from Florida that people get arrested and go to jail. And I didn't want Emilio in jail. I couldn't stand the thought of it. So Emilio and I and his 18-year-old girlfriend, Ashley, decided to go to my house. And Matt and I practically forced Emilio into the car. The Academy Awards were on. It was February 28th, 2016. It was leap year. Obama was president. Actually, no, I think it was Trump. Block the president out. And we went to the beach. And Emilio was goofing off all over the place at the beach. And then we came back home, and we watched the Academy Awards. And we ordered barbecue chicken pizza. And we talked. And I heard Emilio, and he was laughing and giggling, and there were not drugs. We weren't in active addiction. I mean, maybe we were, but we weren't using actively. There was no heroin, there was no cocaine. There was just the three of us who had gone to the beach to sort of settle him down, to watch the Academy Awards, to order pizza. And minute by minute, looking back right now, I wish he'd said help. I wish he'd said, Molly, there's something going on. The voices in my head are getting too loud. Molly, I need help. Because if he'd said that, he'd be here, I hope. But he didn't. The night continued. Best picture, I don't even know. We were laughing so hard. The next day, my friend Chloe was coming to Florida to visit me, or she was in Florida. And she was going to visit me in Lantana. Emilio ran out 3 times that night. The first time, I went after him, brought him home. The second time, Matthew ran after him and brought him home. The third time, we heard the train screech. And I could feel the impact, and I sat up in bed, and I looked around, And I sort of went back to bed. And 2 hours later, the television went on. The news was on. The helicopters were overhead. Matthew had coffee for me. I woke up and I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Shh, Emilio's dead." And I didn't know what to make of that. Emilio's dead? How could Emilio be dead? So I started saying no, just the word no over and over and over. Just no, 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 no. I said, how would he die? How would Emilio die? And he's like, he's under the train. And I didn't believe him. I couldn't believe him until I heard the helicopters and until I saw the news. And then I called Lantana police. I told them what was going on. The stigma of Matthew's history has sort of followed, and I don't know exactly how he got all of it, but police were uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable. The whole situation was uncomfortable. And Ashley just kept standing there saying, "It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault." And the thing about it was, no, Emilio made that decision. It wasn't her fault. But she's responsible because she dared him to do it. There were text messages all over his phone. He was 27 years old. He was 27. So I'm telling you this because I've struggled with sobriety and recovery, and I've struggled with anorexia, and I've struggled, thankfully, not too severely with mental health, although depression has been a serious issue and anxiety is a serious issue. I have a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder. But Emilio was a real person, loved by very many people. The best kid. And I don't have kids, but he was a kid. He was 27 years old. His demons were fierce, but that didn't make him a bad person. He was funny and entertaining and articulate and creative. And he was a good friend, and I'm alive because of him. He made sure I stayed alive. And once promised me to stay alive. Made me promise. He didn't keep up his end. So Emilio,
You still on?
I love you, kiddo. For Emilio, I have 19 months.